Okay, everybody, officially good morning. Today we're going to be talking about the Savvy Inspector SWOT team. And we get our graphics from Presenter Media. I get asked that question all the time, so presentermedia.com if you're interested in those kinds of graphics for your PowerPoints. But you know, we're right in the middle of the planning season, and hopefully you're doing your vision statement is complete and you're happy with it, your vision worksheet. I want you to go back and take a look at it if you haven't and say, am I really happy about where I'm going to be in the next 3 to 5 years? Okay, and then what happens is once we get that vision worksheet set out, then what we've got to do is we have got to get some SMART goals that go to support that vision or congruent with that vision. All right, and there's a worksheet you can download on the website that shows you, it's kind of a test, are your goals really SMART? Okay, and you put your goal in and then you compare it with what the worksheet says. So get that and use it. Then what happens is you get a marketing plan and a marketing calendar, and we'll talk about that in another call. We discussed it last month on this call, but we need to get into it a little bit more. But this today, what we're going to be talking about is something in addition, and it's a perfect complement to once you have those other pieces done, then you can take a look at your business using a SWOT analysis. So we're going to talk about are you on the SWOT team? Okay, that's SWOT now, not SWAT, okay? Okay, here's what we're talking about today. We want to evaluate the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats against your firm. Well, come on here, Mr. PowerPoint. So what is a SWOT analysis? It's a study undertaken by an organization to identify its internal strengths and weaknesses as well as its opportunities and threats. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats equal a SWOT analysis. How many of you folks have done a SWOT analysis on your business? Just type in the chat box yes or no. Just type in yes if you've done it. I know that our mastermind group members all have a SWOT analysis done, and you'll see it as we come up in just a few minutes. Also, our group coaching members are in the process of doing their SWOT analysis now. Okay, thanks. Yes, some no. Okay, good. This is many times a foreign concept to small business owners. Bigger businesses use this quite often, but small business owners sadly haven't adopted it. But it's a very powerful tool, and I wanted each one of you to start using it. Okay. What makes SWOT particularly powerful is that with a little thought, it can help you uncover opportunities that you're well placed to exploit. And by understanding the weaknesses of your business, you can manage and eliminate threats that would otherwise catch you unaware. More than this, by looking at yourself and your competitors using a SWOT framework, you can start to craft a strategy that helps you distinguish yourself from your competitors so that you can compete successfully in your market. This is a super valuable tool. Okay, we're going to keep talking about it. Okay, when you look at your strengths, I really want you to consider your strengths both from internal perspective and from the point of view of your customers and people in your market. In other words, what do they perceive as your strengths? Let's take a look at it. Here's some things that you're going to analyze. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. I just put these down so that you could jumpstart the thought process. Okay, so when you're analyzing what are my strengths, what you should say is, what advantages does your organization have? What do you do better than anyone else? You know, and I'll talk about that in a minute. What unique or low-cost resources can you draw upon that others can't? What do people in your market see as your strengths? Thank you. What factors mean that you get the sale? What is your company's USP or unique selling proposition? You can look at that. I call it sometimes unique selling points. But think about this. I talked about SWOT all day yesterday with my group coaching clients, the ones I personally coach. And one of the things I said to them about this is, you know, when you answer that telephone, what is it you say to the customer or the prospect, if you will, to get them to book their home inspection? I mean, those are clearly your strengths. Those are your USPs. Okay, so your USPs definitely need to be in here. And we're going to look at Coach Carlos's SWOT analysis and Troutman's, Coach William and Sherry's SWOT analysis in a few minutes. And you're going to see how they've really looked at these things and analyzed it and said, wow, these are really the strengths that we have. And they went from there. So let's just keep going and give you some more food for thought. Okay, on your weaknesses, consider this from an internal and external basis. Do other people seem to perceive weaknesses that you don't see? You know how often that is so true. People see things differently than you do. Are your competitors doing any better than you? If the answer is yes, you should look and see why. Okay, it's best to be realistic now and face any unpleasant truths as soon as possible. I mean, sticking your head in the sand. I almost put an ostrich, a graphic here with their head in the sand. Sticking your head in the sand about things that aren't working, that's crazy. Go ahead and jump on those things, address them, and move those from weaknesses to opportunities. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So when you're filling in the weaknesses portion, ask yourself, what could you improve? What should you avoid? What are people in your market likely to see as weaknesses? Both your competitors, your customers, your prior clients. Ask about everything. What are they seeing as potential weaknesses in your firm? What factors lose you sales? Okay, this is very, very important. When you're thinking about why you don't get the sale, you should analyze how come. And don't just say price. You know what happens is, you know why people say, I want to check with my husband or wife about this? You know why it is? Because they're not convinced of what's in it for them by doing business with your firm. If they were convinced that you were the person to protect them from buying the money pit, then guess what? Price is a secondary concern. So don't always default to, oh, my price was too high. That may not be right at all. What may be right is your sales pitch is wrong. Okay? They don't perceive that what's in it for them, or they're not convinced what's in it for them by doing business with your firm, and so they say, let me check with my husband or wife, which is a polite way to say, no, thank you. Okay, so don't always jump to the price thing. Our price was too high. No, maybe not. Maybe not. So analyze that and see if it's one of your weaknesses. Okay. William says price is only a weakness when you're the cheapest. Okay, let's look at our opportunities. What good opportunities can you spot? What interesting trends are you aware of? I'll tell you what a real opportunity that was missed by the entire industry. When Congress said that we want to get inspections on HUD properties, okay, and so what happens is, we didn't have a lobbyist in Washington, and so those jobs went to the appraisers. Well, the appraisers didn't want it, okay. We wanted it, they didn't want it, and they got it. Okay, so that was something that changed in the market that we should have seized as a big opportunity. Okay, useful opportunities can come from such things as changes in technology and markets on both a broad and narrow scale. Changes in government policy related to your field, can generate an opportunity. That certainly, when we could have done the inspections that went to the appraisers, that was a huge opportunity. And now, thank goodness, ASHI does have a lobbyist in Washington, and those types of things generally do not slip past us, the industry anymore. Changes in social patterns, populations, profiles, lifestyle changes, and so on. Local events, can those be opportunities? What's happening in your local market? Now, here's a tip. Use a useful approach when looking at opportunities is to look at your strengths and ask yourself if these open up any other opportunities. Okay. Alternatively, look at your weaknesses and ask yourself whether you could open up opportunities by eliminating them. And I'm going to tell you the answer is absolutely yes. If you can eliminate some of your weaknesses, that really opens up opportunities for you. And I talked about that all day yesterday with my coaching clients. Threats. What obstacles do you face? What are your competitors doing? Are quality standards or specifications for your job, products, or services changing? Is technology threatening your position? Let's think about this for a minute. If people who are still doing handwritten reports, please, I can't believe anybody selects them anymore. When computers came in and we could start doing inspections in the field with a computer and produce those rascals on site, that was a huge change in technology. And if people are still doing a written paper report, that's a serious threat to their business. Okay, do you have bad debt or cash flow problems? I don't see as many home inspectors with bad debt, but I see lots of home inspectors with cash flow problems. They can't invest in this marketing, or they can't do this or whatever because their cash flow sucks. Okay, so that's a real threat to your business. The best time to get you a business line of credit is when you don't need to borrow money. Okay, when you don't need it, that's the time to get yourself a business line of credit, because if somebody told, and I know you guys aren't in this case because you're in the coaching group, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of these schools say, hey, you can get into the home inspection business with no money, you need a flashlight and a truck, it's a great business, you don't have to have a bunch of cash. Well, that's nonsense. If you're going to grow any business, home inspector or not, you have to have sufficient cash flow to make that happen. So if you don't have a business line of credit, I would encourage you to get one. You don't have to use it, but just have it when you need it. Excuse me. Here's could any of your weaknesses seriously threaten your business? And we're going to talk about a few more examples. I'm going to talk one in just a minute. Looking at opportunities and threats can help you to ensure that you don't overlook external factors such as new government regulations or technology changes in your industry. Now, I will tell you that not everybody on this call will fit this, but if you have more than 5 employees and more than $500,000 in sales annually, Obamacare applies to you. Now, I don't care what you think about Obamacare. This isn't a discussion about Obamacare, but this is a discussion where a new government regulation can absolutely affect your business adversely. And this is only one of them, and it's in the news, and that's why I bring it up. Okay, so we really, as small business owners, really have to be looking at these government regulations and say, hey, do they have the opportunity or do they pose a threat to our business? So you know, these things are real, and I want you to include these in. I put a note in here. Threats can be internal or external, and they can also be long-term or short-term. Okay, so let's look at that for a second. An external threat would be a thing like Obamacare if it applied to you. You know, an external threat could be a downturn in the real estate market like we experienced in 2008. Okay, the economy goes backwards. Okay, so those are external threats. But let's think about this. How about internal threats? Let's say you're a two-man shop and you've got a home inspector that is really, really, really great. And you love him, the agents love him, and the fact of the matter is he's getting 100% of his business by request now. He's really doing a great job. What if that guy up and leaves? Is that an internal threat to your business? Absolutely it is. You have to really manage those threats. You have to have a plan or contingency in the event that happens. What if you have a scheduler that you absolutely love and she's doing a fantastic job, and guess what happens? You got no backup for her. Now she's going to have a baby and not come back. I mean, we had that 2 times in our mastermind group in the last 2 months. Okay, that's a big threat to your business. That's a short-term threat. Okay, the home inspector leaving might be a longer-term threat. So threats to your business can be internal and external. They can also be long-term and short-term. Now, let's say this. Let's say that your health wasn't that good. Okay, so you're a multi-inspector firm. Your health isn't that good. That's a short-term threat to your business. You know why I say it's a short-term threat? Because you can put in systems, procedures, policies to address those issues, how to run your business even if you're not there. Okay, so that could be it could be a long-term threat as well, especially if you don't put in if you don't make those changes and get your business ready to sell. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to look at threats. I don't want you to shortchange yourself through the thought process. I want you to really take this seriously and get after it. You'll see in a minute when the coaches start showing you their issues, how seriously they took it. Okay, when do you use a SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis can offer helpful perspectives at any stage of an effort. You might use it to explore possibilities for new efforts or solutions to problems, make decisions about the best path for your initiative, identifying your opportunities for success in context of threats to success can clarify directions and choices. Determine where change is possible. If you're at a junction or turning point, an inventory of your strengths and weaknesses can reveal priorities as well as possibilities. Adjust and refine plans mid-course. A new opportunity might open wider avenues, while a new threat could close a path that once existed. Okay, this is when you use them, and I'm gonna get into more specific when you're going to use them. Okay, here's 3 examples. Please, by no means think these are exclusive. There's lots of more ways we use a SWOT analysis. But every day, these are the ways that you should use a SWOT analysis. Looking at your business during the planning season. That's why I'm talking to you about this now. What I really want you to do is after you've got your vision worksheet set up, you've got your goals, SMART goals, you've got your marketing plan and your marketing calendar, then what happens is it's time to do a SWOT analysis. Okay, we want to look at your business during the planning season. Then I want to make sure that you revisit that SWOT analysis quarterly. I mean, that is so important. Okay, just don't do it once and set it on the shelf, because we don't live in a static society. Change happens daily. Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher, over 500 years ago said, the only thing certain is change. Okay, so, excuse me, I want you to get your SWOT analysis out each quarter, and as part of your performance to plan, quarterly performance to plan, I want you to dust it off and see, is it still accurate or not accurate. Okay, here's another one. When deciding on which offices to target, you know what happens is when you look at your target offices, and I hope to goodness you're looking at it now, you have to say, you know, is this office really right for me? You know what? You're investing your time and your money. I'm just going to call it resources. You're investing your resources in that office, and you expect a positive return. Well, guess what? You should be interviewing that office just like they interview you. And the reason why it is because once you do the analysis, you might say, you know what, I can get a better return in another office. Okay, so please use a SWOT analysis there. You can even use a SWOT analysis on existing offices that you're in. Okay, and then when deciding on a pay-to-play opportunity, okay, if you're thinking about doing pay-to-play, and I encourage that, the fact of the matter is you need to do a SWOT analysis to see what you're bringing to the table, what they're bringing to the table, and can the partnership or the joint venture between the two of you have a positive return. Okay, so those are 3 everyday examples where you're going to use it on a regular basis. Okay, let's take a quick look. Okay, I hope every one of you are using the MindMeister tool. Okay, the mind mapping tool. It really is a great thing. They have a SWOT analysis form built right into the MindMaster maps. Now, I'm going to stop right here because Kyle had a good question right here. What is pay to play? Okay. What that is, Kyle, is this. Offices like Keller Williams allow 1 to 3 vendors to come in their home inspectors to come into their office, market their agents, and that kind of thing. And what happens? You basically pay a fee for that exclusivity. Okay, and a lot of home inspectors are very opposed to this. Philosophically, it's not my thing either. However, in reality, I'll pay my whatever it is. I paid up to $2,500 a year to be in certain offices, but and so did 2 other home inspectors. The other 2 home inspectors never came in there and maximized their investment, and we earned in one office over $250,000 a year in business out of that one office. Okay, because we were willing to make a financial investment in that office, and then we got in and worked our marketing strategies in there. And today I can go back into that office, and the broker will put her arm around me, take me through, look who's here, Ken's back, blah, blah, blah. And those are the kind of relationships we built. So pay to play is where you become kind of a partner vendor with a real estate agent, and for that there's a fee associated. So, and we'll talk about that in detail on another call. Okay, so MindMeister, the mapping software, has already got that in there. Let me just pull this over for a second. I run multiple screens, so let me show you. If you're already a MindMeister customer, what you do is you go right here to add a new map. And what you'll see is they have a library, and we'll just say browse the library template. And what happens, you scroll right down here, and here is the SWOT analysis. Okay? You just open it up and then start working on it like you would any other mind map. Okay, so that's that. Let me close that out. Hopefully it won't close the other ones I got open over here. Perfect. Wow, that actually worked. I'm impressed. Okay. Let's take a look at Coach Carlos's SWOT analysis. Now, if you like Carlos's picture, give me a yes in the chat box. I think it looks just like him. I'm going to unmute Mr. Carlos. Yep, it looks just like him, doesn't it? Carlos, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I dropped in my yes.
Okay, super. Let me just pull your map over, and we'll just start here, and I'll control for you so you don't have to worry about it. All right. Let's do this.
All right. Well, first, yeah, go ahead.
No, we'll start with strengths when you're ready.
Okay. Let's go ahead. Click on the strengths here. Just know that this one is a little bit outdated, but it's pretty much just to give you guys the idea of what we did and how we did it. Some of our strengths, we'll start at the top here, is a great call center. We've been with the call center already going on 3 years. So, you know, we're very happy with them, and we consider it a strength. We get a lot of good reviews from our customers and so on. Excellent reputation with the agents and with the clients. We get more positive. I mean, I think this year, if we got 1 4-star review, was too much. We've gotten all 5-star reviews, so we do have a good reputation in the field. Utilizing all available technology. We use handheld computers. We do our reports on site, so that's a strength that we have. Great residential inspection team. We have a good team of guys. Great and established commercial inspection team. Same thing. Great report writing software with constant updates. We wear uniforms. We carry booties. You know, we carry a little broom, a little vacuum cleaner, the whole thing to give good service. Good agent relationship marketing. Our report turnaround is good because we use the computer on site. We are on time all the time. Very rarely do we show up late to an inspection. Good teamwork. We belong to the mastermind group. We are a debt-free company. We don't owe money to anybody, which is great. And we've got right now 3 full-time home inspectors. So that changed. We added a guy. So that's basically our strengths, which really haven't changed too much. I think if we were to add something now in the new, would be marketing. We are doing a lot more marketing, a lot more focused marketing, if you will. Which way do you want to go, Ken, with the opportunities or weaknesses?
Let's go to weaknesses. We'll just stay in the SWOT mode.
Weaknesses. We've got areas that I should personally avoid. Accounting. I did hire a bookkeeper this year, so I have successfully removed myself from accounting. Administrative duties. I did hire a virtual assistant this year, so I have removed myself from most administrative duties. Insurance inspection management. We have pretty much stopped doing insurance inspections except when we do them together with the home inspection and callbacks regarding insurance and so on. So answering phones, I definitely stay away from answering the phones. And the banking is tied into the accounting. Lack of training, report writing training, on-site inspection training. We have developed a report writing training software. Based on this SWOT analysis, we realized that was a weakness. We addressed that weakness. On-site inspection training, we're still a little bit weak on that. I don't really spend as much time as I would like to in the field with the guys. No ongoing system to identify potential inspector candidates. No talent bank, still working on that. That's still our weakness. Not diversified enough, too many eggs in one basket. Thinking about it, an insurance inspection department. Lack of administrative support, we have addressed that. We've got the ISN shortcomings, no tracking for incomplete inspections. We have addressed that. No measurement of why we cannot book an inspection. We have addressed that as well. No ability to insert reoccurring events. That is still a mystery to me with ISN. It doesn't work the way it should. Becoming a real company, risk management, employee manual. We are working on an employee manual as we speak. We do have the claims escrow account in production. We are getting that in order. Marketing calendar and automation. We have created a marketing calendar for 2014. Again, since this was a little bit older, these weaknesses really showed us what we needed to do. And as you can see, we've really addressed a lot of these based on analyzing everything and seeing our weaknesses in writing right in front of us. And that's the beauty of this SWOT analysis. Scheduling availability, turning business away, upsetting agents. We have addressed that. We've hired more people, and we are working on that. Paying way too much for credit card fees. We have not addressed that one, and we are working on it. From the workshop, we got some good, good leads on that. So we're hoping to change that here coming up soon.
Now, Carlos, let me just insert this one thing. That the Savvy Inspector has teamed up with a company, and William and Sherry and I met with them earlier this week, and they're just waiting on me for a little bit of information. And next Tuesday, so mark your calendar, next Tuesday, which is the 10th, we're going to be doing a webinar with the credit card company so they can show you how to really, really lower your fees. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday the 10th with the signature card services. They've been handling home inspectors for 7 years, and they really have a great deal for us. So please mark your calendar for that, everybody. Let's go back, Carlos, to one thing, because a lot of people
are you going to send an email?
I am.
Are you going to send an email about
that?
Okay.
Okay. I'll promote it. I'll start promoting it today, the event. But let's talk about this. I know because you're in the mastermind group, you're familiar with the talent bank and the concept, but a lot of our members aren't. So share what it is when you mean by talent bank.
Okay, this was something that I learned actually in the mastermind group, that developing a talent bank and having that talent bank there for you. The talent bank, basically what it is identifying those folks who may be suitable to join you as an inspector. One of my talent bank opportunities is about 4 blocks from me lives the professor for Miami-Dade Community College home inspection course, and he sends me an email list of all the graduating students. I talk to him every couple of months, and so I grab those names, I put them in my talent bank, and I touch base with them every once in a while. As a matter of fact, one of my trainee guys this week said that he was not fit for this job, and 2 days later I got a call from one of my talent bank guys that I've touched base with in the past, and he seems to be ready to start learning and training and all that. So developing the talent bank wherever it's from, whether it's if you put an ad and you get resumes and you want to put a few of the gooder, better resumes in there to build that good talent bank. Connections with, if you go to the firehouses and you're looking for part-time guys, maybe you've got a guy who says, well, I'm not interested now, but I may be interested in a few months. But, every month or so, just send them a quick email and say, hey, how are you doing? How's it going? Just keep that talent bank going and keep communication with that talent bank every once in a while. It's something I learned in the mastermind group, and I started to develop that. At that point, I had no talent bank, and now we have a small talent bank that we're growing and we're working on every day.
Okay. I will tell you, thank you, Carlos, that I have a talent bank. The best home inspector I ever hired, bar none, was an inside office salesperson for Lanier Office Products here in Atlanta. And so what happens, his wife worked for me in another company I own, and I, of course, because I socialize with our key employees, we have monthly dinners, and, we do social events together, the ones we really enjoy their company. And I had met her husband, and immediately I said, oh, wow, this guy has got great interpersonal skills. He is just a genuinely likable individual. So I put him in my talent bank and kept in touch with him. And guess what happens is when he said one day, you know what, I'm kind of sick of what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. How would you like to be a home inspector? And boom, there he was. Okay, so get in there. One of the ways that you can keep up with your talent bank is this, the touch points. You can send them your home inspection newsletter and your home inspection tip of the month that you're getting through Jennifer. Okay, that way they're staying up with the industry, staying up with you. They get 2 quality touch points from you each month, and guess what? You don't have to do anything. It's a system. Then once a quarter or so, send them a personal note. Send out cards. Send them a handwritten note. How's it going? How's your family? Just build that relationship. Then when it comes time for an opening, or you hear that they're somehow dissatisfied with what they do, you've got the relationship already started. So your talent bank is critical for your long-term success as a multi-inspector firm. Okay, Carlos, let's look at opportunities. Thank you, Carlos, for sharing that. That was excellent. Let's go right here to opportunities.
Okay, here we've identified where we can grow and what opportunities, we can take advantage of. Territory expansion, grow into different counties and things like this. Create insurance inspection department. Here I identified which counties, and what areas we'd like to work in and so on and so forth. Create an insurance inspection department. Opportunity risk, locate retiring inspectors and give them money for their phone number. There's something that we usually don't think of, but there are inspectors that are done. They're tired and they don't want to do this anymore, and a lot of times there's an opportunity there. Plumbing waste pipe videotaping expansion. We've been doing a lot of homework and research on that, where we can offer that service. Radon testing here, we've found that it's not very popular and it's very complicated, so we've decided to stay away from it, but we did identify it as an opportunity. Teaching CE classes, we are working on that as we speak right now to develop that and get that going. Virtual inspections, we are providing those now as part of our 5-star package. Realtor marketing, different marketing opportunities that we can explore. Mortgage broker marketing, which we don't do nearly enough of. Top producer marketing, direct to the public opportunities. These are, all kinds of things, whether it's social media or CEO or websites, different things like this. Market to the affluent, so focus more on those people, those realtors that are catering to the bigger, fancier homes, and so on and so forth. Raise our fees. We're raising our fees now on a regular basis. Develop a callback reduction incentive. So this is one that we have not touched yet, and so we're going to be working on that here coming up soon.
Awesome. Now, Carlos, I want to just say this to everybody who's on the call and who listens to the recording later. One of the things you'll notice in Carlos's weakness is he had the lack of realtor marketing. And the reason why it was is because Carlos lacked administrative support, and he was doing a lot of things that he shouldn't be doing. Okay, he wasn't focused on the one thing. Okay, so now what happens is he's moved, he has weaknesses, he has realtor marketing, but look what he's got, opportunities for realtor marketing as well. So things can be in more than one category. Okay, that makes sense to everybody? Everybody with us?
Oh, yeah.
So far? Okay. How often, Wanda says, how often should we raise fees? I'd say daily. We're extremely underpaid. I'm teasing. Okay. We can have a discussion about that, but you should raise your price at least 3 times a year. At least 3 times a year. Okay, Carlos, let's talk about the threats. Let me just see if I've got any ones that aren't open. Okay, I'm ahead of you now.
Okay, here we go. Internal threats. Software outdated. We're using Word 2003, and some of the equipment may not be able to use the Word 2003. So that's something we have to really consider and look at. Key employee turnover. I think that's an internal threat for every single firm of any industry. It doesn't matter what it is. Cross-training. That's an internal threat. We are not cross-trained as we should. Which can also be a weakness, like Ken just said, and it then can also be an opportunity because we have the opportunity to cross-train and get the guys and girls, doing different things so that they can be more diversified. Employee theft, that I believe is for everybody. MVR, criminal and credit check, service agreement procedures, no risk management program, inspector burnout. Hurricanes is an external threat, which is very serious for us here. We got hit at one point, and we did not do one inspection for 3 weeks. That severely hurt us that month in our business. Insurance for hurricane, or if your business comes to a complete stop, there are insurance policies out there that you can purchase. External threat is large inspection companies. At one point, we had a really large company looking to come into this area, and we thought that may really hurt us. Inspector injury, which I think should be on everybody's list. Insurance, key person, workers' compensation. One of my key inspectors is a motorcycle racer, and so that's why that's in there. He has a very risky hobby, and if God forbid something were to happen to him, besides the fact that we would be devastated because something happened to him, the business would also suffer a great loss. So that's an external threat that you have to think about.
That's exactly right. Now, I hope everybody can see that Carlos has analyzed his business, and as a result of his analysis, the SWOT analysis, he really sees what he needs to do, get to work. So this is really, really a good thing. You can buy key man insurance. Key person insurance is probably the politically correct way to say it. But growing up in the insurance industry, we still called it key man insurance. Okay, Carlos has done a great job here. Any questions before we move on? I just wanted you to see this, and then we're going to look at Coach William and Sherry's. Okay, everybody says great job, Carlos. It was a great job. This has really been very helpful. So I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to mute Mr. Carlos here and bring on William and Sherry. Okay, mute, and let's see if I've got William and Sherry. I got them unmuted. Okay, let me just bring their threat analysis over, and let me just change the slide. All right, and I'll bring theirs over. Well, yours guys says William entering in brainstorming mode. I don't know why it says that, but we'll forget about it. All right, William and Sherry, you're up, and we'll start with strengths.
I'm flying solo here. Sherry had to bug out on us. So
oh, wow.
Very impressive, Carlos. You really broke that down in great detail. I don't think ours goes that far. However, ours is a little older as well. I kind of told you that when I sent it over to you, but you get the gist of it here. So the strengths of our company at that time and still now, we have an abundance of employees. I've tried to stay ahead of the game where I've always I've got one more guy to keep busy. What happened to us there? We had a stretch where I turned down just job after job after job because I did not have the manpower. You do all this work to make the phone ring, and then daggone it, you can't take the job because you're booked up, which is a great problem to have. But we decided that we were going to overcome that. So we are at the point now where we're gearing up for spring, and I've actually probably got one man too many. So then I've got the challenge in front of me to make the phone ring enough that we can keep that extra person busy. So I've kind of turned the tables there that if we, if I don't have enough work, I'll be in a position where have to tell somebody, I'm sorry, I can't keep you busy, versus turning down, 120 jobs in a month. So, so that's kind of where that's at. Definitely had enough inspections. That kind of goes hand in hand with enough employees. Automation, we have really worked hard to keep everything automated within the office, and we continue to improve on that all the time, but that was a real strength for us. A lot of systems in place, so that our marketing, things like that, are set up for months and months in advance. Again, that was something that we really worked hard on, because we were spending a lot of time, every month, what are we going to do, what are we going to do? And so, so we did finally get past that point where things are set up for months in advance as much as we could possibly do that. Financial stability, we've always been in a good financial shape here, with the company being pretty much paid for itself, no debt there. Our communication skills within the office ourselves and with real estate agents has always been a real strength for us. Cross-training is something that we always try to work on. As we hire inspectors, they do spend time in the office, answering the phone and doing other office work, just so that they get a feel for what happens, and within the office itself. A lot of advantages to that. One, of course, would be when you fail to upload a report or fail to go through with your job out in the field. With them being in the office, they understand the turmoil that's caused within the office when something doesn't go the way it should have. So we see that as a strength. We have a very strong reputation with the realtors out there, with our past clients, so seeing that as a strength. Databases, we've always done really decent with collecting data and keeping that stored properly. We're always making improvements on that as well. Let's see what's next there.
Capable team.
A capable team, again, by having everybody cross-trained, folks that can step into other positions. If somebody's sick or somebody's out, I can usually take another employee and plug them in that spot. So everybody is more than capable of carrying on more than one role within the office. Training program, as everybody in the mastermind group knows, that's something that we just did wrap all that up, and I've got two new employees going through that training program right now, which has been a real plus for us. It just expedites the training process, so they're not running around out there blind trying to learn. We've actually got a set step-by-step program where within about 50 inspections or less, they're out on their own. We also did create the employee manual. Now, I've got these on here as strengths. At that time, these were things that we were in the process of putting together. At this point now, they're behind us. The employee manuals, training videos. Can't hardly read that. I'm sorry. It's really small.
Covering phones after 4:30 and weekends.
See, put that on there as a strength, because that was a big problem for us. Sherry and I were always getting stuck with answering the phone after the office closed, or Saturday we're out on the lake floating around on the boat answering the daggone phone. So, so we did get that taken care of. We're all sharing that load now. So see that as a strength, that we can actually have a little personal time. That was a struggle for us in the past. We do have a full office staff, which is a real strength, because most of my competitors are still answering their own phone. So seeing that as a big plus. We do all wear uniforms. Again, a lot of my competitors are still in blue jeans and their company T-shirt. So just look a whole lot more professional than our competitors out there. Presentations has always been a big strength for us, and we're continuing to build upon that. As we speak. I think I told you yesterday I finally got into to actually teach CE for the Louisville market. So, but here I've got Siren Lunch and Learns. That's the local Indiana association that I was teaching through. And these Lunch and Learns that we get in, we'll bring in lunch and do an hour presentation in the individual offices, has really been a big boost for our company. And I have nobody else competitor-wise doing that. So that's been a real wide open door for us. I always push that we're family-owned. We're not a franchise. Just pushing that as a strength. You're going to talk to a real person that their family is dependent on this business. You're not just another number. You really mean something to us. So we've promoted ourselves that way. Company is debt-free. I touched on that a while ago. We've always tried to keep from having any debt. Although I do agree with the business loan that line of credit. We have not done that and should. Mastermind group, of course, is a strength. You know, when you're in a mastermind group like that, and you've got 8 or 10 other guys or firms that are there to support you in any problems or concerns you've got, pushing you forward, kind of a check and balance system there. I see that as a real strength. Bundling our packages together, we can get into more detail about it if you'd like, but being able to have a 5-star package basically. Really drug our feet on that, but that's something that we finally got in place and has been a real strength for us. Technology-wise, our report writing, we use the ISN for report delivery and scheduling, all that kind of stuff, and I might have a couple of other competitors in the area that are close to us on that, but our report writing with the embedded links and that kind of stuff really keeps us ahead of them. And we do still have guys, believe it or not, in the big Louisville market that are, tearing off a carbon copy. It's just amazing that those guys are working. I agree 100% with that, but they are. And the only reason I know it is I get the feedback from agents that complain about it. So, yeah. So report writing is a big strength for us. Punctuality, I've always been a big stickler on that. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. And it's a real stickler for me in the office as well as the guys out in the field.
Community involvement.
Yeah, we try to stay. Now, when I say that, that's we could expand upon that some more. But like participating with, say, Keller Williams for their Red Day, or Habitat for Humanity, or just anything that you can get involved in the community, that will give you exposure and also lend a helping hand to the community.
Let me just close this down, William, and that'll give you that'll easier to see a little.
There we go. What do other companies see as our strengths? Of course, our marketing, because there's just nobody. I mean, our guys in our area are still doing the, dropping off their business card and the Word document with all their certifications on it. They just do not get the concept of marketing. So that's always been a really strong suit for us.
Now, William, before we go any further, I want you to touch on this, because people can say, oh, that's a good strength. But really what happens is, talk about the realtors wanting you to help them market.
Yeah, after we've done this I'd say we've probably done it a year or better, with our flyers that go out and just all the different marketing things that we do, just get tons and tons of great feedback from the real estate agents about, that's a great idea, where do you come up with this stuff? And we've had it happen 3 times now where we've actually gotten a phone call where they want to sit down and buy us lunch and talk about our marketing and how we could help them improve their marketing. So just that's a real strength. Real strength.
And see, this is how other companies see Certainty Home Inspections. I mean, this is how your referral sources and others see them, as a superior marketer. Okay, and that's a huge strength for their company. I mean, when an event goes down in their marketing area, they want William and Sherry to be on the marketing committee and really lead the band, so the event will be successfully attended. That's a huge strength.
Just to touch on that, we had that happen twice. I had a Keller Williams office and a RE/MAX office approach us. They were the Keller Williams office has done it twice. They had a Christmas, some kind of, who can get the most listings deal, and they were trying to put this together, kind of an in-office contest, blah, 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 and they just didn't know where to go with it, so they have a little powwow, about who can do what, and our name gets thrown up. We get a phone call in the middle of the meeting asking if we could get involved with this and help them make this a success. So real compliment to us.
Okay. Relationships is next.
Relationships goes hand in hand, turning, I don't know how many times you've said it, turning these acquaintances into friendships, friends. If you can make a friend out of these real estate agents, you've got somebody else out there that's actually promoting and pushing your company. They want to help you succeed. So I've said this before, because I think the concept is, you get in there and you create a fake relationship just so you can get business. You got to be really careful with that too, because people see through that. And you've got to be genuine and really care about the agents that you're working with. So relationship building is a real strength for us. We really strive to do that. And again, that's even to the point where you're the person that they call. I think I gave this example at the meeting there in Fort Myers. They're showing a house and they run into something that they're not sure about, or they got a question on, and you get the call, and they're showing the client a house and they got a question, and they call you to get your opinion about what they're looking at. And that's the kind of relationship, the trust, know me like you trust me, that I'm talking about, building within those relationships. So strong point. Presentations, again, right back to doing lunch and learns, the continuing ed. Anytime that we can get in front of those folks, and it makes us appear to be the expert over and over again. And the more opportunities that we get to do that, I'm pushing for that right now. Like I said, I just got this continuing ed certification for Louisville, and you can bet I'm going to be over there every chance I get in front of these folks, because, again, it makes you the go-to guy. If you're up there talking about mold or radon or termites, whatever the case may be, they attend your presentation, and then they run into a question. Who are they going to call? The last guy they just heard talk about that. You're up there in front of the crowd, so you must be the expert about it.
Now, William, I want to say something here because I don't want our audience to miss this. These, again, are what other companies see as your strengths. So when somebody needs a presentation in their office, real estate office, you know who they call? William and Sherry at Certainty. I mean, they're not in there begging for presentations anymore. People are calling them.
Right. It used to be. I mean, when we got this off the ground, I spent a lot of time knocking on the doors and getting that first opportunity to get our foot in the door. And then once we had done that and get ourselves established for that's what we do, rarely now do I have to, I do a broadcast email now and then about, our calendar's open for the winter months here. Let's get in so you don't miss the opportunity. And my phone starts ringing. And we're booked up now pretty much through the winter time, for office presentations. So a real strength. And I know my competitors hate that.
Love it.
So, again, multi-inspectors, I kind of touched on that a while ago, but we do have an abundance of inspectors, so that there's 8 of us, soon to be here, 8 of us, so that we can cover any service that comes through the door. What have I got there? Experience. Mm-hmm. We've been at this 8 years now. We've done, geez, man, I mean, we've got the experience behind us. And I'll just put that on there because right now, with the market being so good, not just now, but in the last few months, the market's been so good that these home inspection schools are packed, and they're cranking out these new inspectors. And what do these guys do? They get out there and they go lowballing on the price. So it is a competitor that you have to deal with. And the number one thing to cut that short on their end is the experience that you bring to the table that they just can't do that. So I see that as a real strength. Again, reputation, right back to that. We've got a really strong reputation out there, online, thanks, Ken, and and in the offices as well. Company vehicles, our company's structured just a little differently. We do supply vehicles to the inspectors, so the reason I put that on there is, it looks good. We've got mobile billboards, if you will, running around. We have 2 or 3 of the same vehicles from the company pull up in the parking lot to do a sponsorship or something. It's just really impressive. And then again, it's a mobile billboard. Do we get a ton of work from that? Not really, but I have had the phone ring and they say, hey, I just seen one of your trucks buzz by and I see you do mold inspections. Questions about that, or radon, or whatever the case may be. So just seeing that as another strength.
I will tell you, on company vehicles, I've had somebody flag me down. A mortgage broker needed a home inspection, new to the biz, needed a home inspection, flag me down. And I'm in a gas station filling up my truck. Somebody comes in and needs a home inspection. So I don't think you should underestimate company vehicles.
Yeah, we were coming back from Florida, back from Jasper when we had our meeting in Jasper, and I had a fellow out of Tennessee call the office here because we were coming through Tennessee, and he was wanting questions about mold testing.
There you go.
So, just a little out of our area, buddy. But so, and then again, sponsorships. We just any opportunity that we get. Now in Indiana, we talked about pay to play a while ago. I think Kyle chimed in there with a question about what that was. In our area, we have to be really careful about that because of our licensing laws. So I just will say, make sure that you understand your licensing laws before you get involved in that. So, with that being said, we cannot pay to play on the Indiana side here. However, there are 1,000 ways around that. And basically what we're doing, is any sponsorship opportunity that comes up, just off the top of my head here, I know there's a Keller Williams office here that we paid for the bus to take the whole office over to a training session that was going on over in Louisville. So there are other ways. If you find out that you can't pay to play, there are other ways around that to sponsor and those office activities and things that they've got going on. So again, just another strength because we're always looking for those opportunities, and they seek us out. The downside of that is once they know that you're willing to do that, you get in a position where sometimes you have to say no because you've only got so many marketing dollars to go around.
Okay. And I'll tell you how I say no in a polite way, because we're Southern, y'all. And I say, you know what we did? We set up our marketing budget last December, and sadly, this event wasn't included in there. So all of our dollars are allocated to items we've already committed to. And I know this is a great thing. And so what happens, would you give me some information, and we'll evaluate it and see if we can get it worked in next year. Well, they're not in charge of it next year, and they go away happy. They understand everybody but the federal government has a budget. So you know what happens is they get that, and they're not mad at you. So that's kind of the easy Southern way to let people down. And William had a good point. Please know your own licensing laws. California is another state in which you cannot do pay-to-play. Okay, so please be aware of the licensing laws in your own state. Don't say Ken said we could do it when you're in front of the judge, because Ken ain't going to be there.
Yeah, and you know, we, as far as saying no, I use those. I don't know if you stole that from me, Ken, or I stole that from you.
Modeled.
Modeled that from you, yeah. You know, when I was talking earlier about doing these broadcast emails or direct mail to try to get them to use us for the Lunch and Learns, I just sent one out before we went to Fort Myers that said, you know, our calendar for the winter months is filling up fast. We've only got so many marketing dollars to go around, so make sure that you give us a call and get in. We'd hate for your company to miss this opportunity. So they know. I mean, that's one way of presetting that there's only so much money and time to go around. So make sure that you get in on this. So when you tell them that, you know, I'm sorry, but you know, we really just spent way too much money marketing this year to attend that, but make sure you call me earlier next year to make sure we can get in on that.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, I want you to, we're going to start on weaknesses, but I want to show, just mention something. Do you know Coach Carlos and Coach William have used the MindMeister's SWOT mind map, right? No sense in reinventing the wheel.
Exactly. Carlos, I think, went into great detail here as opposed to what you're seeing from us. So hats off to you there, Carlos. As far as weaknesses go, what areas should we avoid? I think that was one of the questions that's just in the SWOT as you start with, and I really didn't answer that. But for us, several of the weaknesses over there, just along those lines, is, you know, totally unfamiliar with that area. It's a brand new market for us. So that was probably our biggest weakness, is, you know, just stepping into the unknown, if you will. And I'm just thinking of what area you should avoid. You know, Louisville is a pretty good city, so we have the good side of the tracks and the bad side of the tracks, and we don't know which side of the tracks is what over there. So, so we're learning that quickly. You know, 7th Street, for example, is not a place you want to go after dark. So those are things that as I've seen as weaknesses, trying to learn those areas. Weaknesses seen by the other competitors, we talked about it a while ago, we try to keep ourselves priced above everybody else, at least 50, 75 bucks. So I can see our competitors saying that that's a real weakness for us, because, you know, we're more expensive. I can also see them that we are a multi-inspector firm. You know, they're a one-man shop, so they can sell that. And of course, we're selling against the one-man shop, the one-man shop is selling against us. So kind of shared weaknesses there. In our opinion, weakness would be, better salesmanship and phone training. And what I'm talking about there, we've got a girl in our office, Sam is her name. She does an excellent job answering the phone, but she's really had no formal training. You know, I hear everybody talk about the call center and some of these other phone answering services that they've done really well with, because not only do they close almost every sale, but they also upsell your ancillary services while they're on the phone. And I know that although Sam does a great job for us, if she had some formal training along those lines, she could probably do much better with that. So that's something that we're still investigating and working on to try to get that training in-house. Carlos had this on his guys. I love it. Burnout. You know, we were at the point where I was talking a while ago when we were turning down so much work. My guys were working 3 apiece a day, sometimes 4, which is just insane. So, you know, and I wouldn't force them to do it. It's their choice to do it, but still that threat of being burnout is there. An example of that, my son-in-law has been with us a little better than a year now, and he had been doing 3 apiece a day quite often. And so my goal was to get everybody where they just simply do 2 a day and have a life. So he was on that for a while, the 3 apiece a day, and I'm like, well, you know, you've got the opportunity to pass this 3rd inspection for the day off to somebody else. Do you want to do that? So he had done that a few times. Well, then when he goes back to having that 3rd one on him for the day. He gets it now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You realize you just do not have a life when you do that. The money's great, but you really give up a lot of your livelihood. So burnout has always been a concern and something that we're working. It's a real weakness for us until we get our everybody in place so they're not working that much. And then need a talent bank. Again, this is a little old. We do have 3 or 4 names in a talent bank now, and continuing to build upon that. I love what you said about have not added them to the e-newsletters and what have you, but I will do that. That was excellent.
Yeah, cool system, cool system.
Yeah.
All right, let's move down here to opportunities. All right, William, can you read it? Interesting trends in your niche. Start with infrared.
Yeah, in our area, infrared has kind of come on. Nobody's really marketing hard, but I do see that as an opportunity for us as a service that we could add, as well as energy audits. So just trying to think of opportunities out there to add services, to have a niche going there. So we have not moved forward in either one of those directions yet. Too many other things on our plate, but that remains there in front of us as an opportunity to grow upon. And what are the best opportunities? Growth. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. Louisville market's in there on that. We've, as I said, shared my my success with you there yesterday. We've Louisville actually for the month of November hit our #1 spot. We worked diligently to make that happen. Now we're just keep building upon that. So growth and building in that area is what we're after. And I might add here, too, because I don't know how many folks we got on here that are multi-inspector firm or going to multi-inspector firm. I started this by myself, so I was in the position that I think Carlos and the rest of us have all been in, that once you've got yourself established and you start bringing on other inspectors, you have the battle of, especially with your top producers that call and they only want you. So transitioning those over to your other inspectors was somewhat of a challenge as well, although we've done really well with that. But part of the moving into the Louisville market, if we should lose, any business on the Indiana side for whatever reason, we're trying to build that over in the Louisville market so that it doesn't kill us. I'm not so worried about, and we've got some problematic agents on this side that I would like to just say goodbye to. So as we build those numbers up in Louisville, it gives us more freedom on the Indiana side to make those kind of calls, if you follow.
Now, William, how many inspections do you do each week?
Me?
Yes.
Personally, I don't. I haven't inspected in probably 6 months now.
So his answer is 0. He does 0 each week. And you know what happens? Most of our mastermind group members, including Carlos, are going that direction because they understand that one thing is to bring business into the firm, not be out there doing the inspections. Okay, that's where the real money is. I mean, William Knapp is going to have 8 inspectors when this next one comes out of training. The fact of the matter is, why is he out there doing inspections? What his job is to continue to build the business. Okay, so 0 inspections. He's been very successful at transitioning his top agents onto his other team, and we can talk about that in a whole other call.
Sure. So the Louisville market, we've just scratched the surface. I mean, I'm touching base over there in about 4 offices. There are countless offices over there. We did a SWOT analysis of that whole area, chose the agents that we were after, like Carlos said, the affluent top producers, what we marketed, and we've been really successful with it up to this point. But still, untapped marketing strategies over there. When I say that, I'm talking more about the other offices, the other top producers. We're getting ready to do it again, another fairly large campaign to the next tier group, if you will, of agents that we're after. We have not even begun to touch on lenders, builders warranties, brokers, going direct to the public over there. You've pretty well got that handled for me. Thank you very much. And then top producers again. What we did, we'll just talk about top producers here real quick. We set a budget when we said, okay, we're gonna bust into this Louisville market. And for those of you on the call that help you clarify that, well, I'm in Indiana, but I'm about a 30-minute ride to Louisville, Kentucky. The Ohio River separates extreme southern Indiana and Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm working in a really, really rural area on the Indiana side, and we've done really well here, but we've brought ourselves up to where we've pretty well dominated this market, and in order to expand and grow, the only opportunity for us is to really move across the river into Louisville. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. So what we did was we set a budget and we said, okay, we're going to spend $2,000 and we're going to bust into this market. Well, that turned out to be a really, really good thing for us. But my thought was I would hit the $1 million and up producers. Well, guess what? When I did the SWOT over there and seen what was going on, there are millions of them. So I had to up the ante and go to 2.5 million producers and up to stay within budget. So that's what we did on the first go around. Now the second go around, I'm getting ready to go to the 1 million to the 2.5 million. Top producers. So that's kind of where that's headed.
Now, I want to just say a couple things here. First is William did a SWOT analysis on his move to Kentucky, moving his business in that area to expand his territory. So you can see there's a whole nother use of a SWOT analysis that we haven't even talked about today. So that's a very, very important thing. The other thing is Carlos alluded to, he's in a mastermind group. William is in our mastermind group for our multi-inspector firms. Please know that group is full, but we do have in April 4 new mastermind groups coming open, so please watch for the announcements. And also, Carlos and William have both alluded that we do their online marketing. We do all of the online marketing for all the coaches and many, many other of our other members. So those opportunities are there. I will tell you that we're already booked for December and January. We only take a few clients each month, and we're already booked for those times. But if you're interested in that, we can talk about that later as well. All right, William, let's look at your threats here.
Yeah, a little weak here. Didn't really get this filled out nearly as well as it could have been. So what is our competition doing over there? I know that they're lowballing price. I was just shocked when I got into the analysis of Louisville and checking out some of the competitors over there. I really, really thought I'd be up against some heavy hitters. And don't get me wrong, there's some very well-established companies over there, but just nothing like I had expected. I mean, like I said a while ago, there's several of them that are a little one-man shop, and they're still doing the handwritten report, and I was just really surprised by that. So I seen that as a threat for lowballing. I can't read that next one.
Teaming up.
Teaming up. I don't know why, but over there it seems that that's a big deal, more than one inspector on site. And then there's a new franchise that's popped up over there called the Home Team, and they preach that too. You get 3 or 4 guys on site, although in the small print it says depending on the size of the home there may only be one inspector there, but that's their selling point. Yeah, so that's their selling point. So those were things I thought, well, we'd have to kind of battle or be prepared for. So we did. We've made sure that they understand when it's a large home, you get more than one inspector from us as well. The lowballing price, of course, you know how we battle that. It's you get what you pay for. Mm-hmm. And we really haven't had too much flack about that. I will say that I'm a little disappointed, and another thing for us to work on is that condo inspections over there. Everybody they're doing these so daggone cheap. I mean, like $150 that I've just kind of overlooked it. I'm not even going to go there. Why do I want to compete with that? So we're staying extremely busy doing higher end homes and what have you. I just hate that. I know there's a market there, but I can't. Every time we do one, our price is about $300, and I get so much flack back about it. Not that I wouldn't adjust my price, but Gemini, I mean, they're giving them away basically. So
I wouldn't adjust my price. I would just overlook that. I think you've done a great job on it. You just overlook that market. Forget about it. Focus on, like you said, high-end employees, marketing the affluent, top producers.
Right. Internal threats, we've kind of gotten past that now as we're adding these other employees, but it would be, and by cross-training and those kind of things, that probably my biggest threat, as you know, is if I lost somebody, would be Will at this point, because he's such a good guy to have all around in all different areas. So, but we've really kind of overcome that. And then external threats, Carlos kind of touched on the deal with his hurricanes down there in our area. It's, we do have occasionally some pretty heavy snowfall that might knock us out for a week or so.
Okay, I want William, he's going to talk about one more map here. Let me close this out real quick, and we're a little bit over time, but we'll wrap this up here in a minute. Here's how William and Sherry did a SWOT analysis on a real estate office. And again, this is an older map that they've done, but I just wanted you to see what they're doing, because I want you to do this as well. This is so, so important. So this is a SWOT analysis of a Keller Williams office.
Yeah, and again, this is a little lame. We started on this and got the idea, the premise of it, and just repeated this over and over for each office. And I will tell you that not everything's on this, but you get the idea of it. So The strengths, of course, connections, that's Nikki Fuller and Heidi Four. Heidi Four happens to be a regional manager over 3 or 4 of the Keller Williams offices. I had the fortunate opportunity to be introduced to her on the Indiana side, built a little relationship with her. Nikki Fuller is a top producer on both sides of the river, and as a matter of fact, she's even moved all the way to Indianapolis, got a little satellite office going up there. So just a big heavy hitter that I've had a great relationship with. So I was able to utilize their endorsements, if you will, in my marketing material to help us get into the KW office in Louisville. So that was a big, big strength. Not just those two. We did that with most every agent that we could, but those are the 2 heavy hitters that had the most pull, if you will, for us. And then marketing flyers, the strength, the reason why I put that on their strength is, you know, we've been established over here on the Indiana side for 6 or 7 years. I've got 6 or 7 years of marketing material, flyers being part of that, that we, through tracking, we were able to analyze, you know, this flyer did well, this flyer wasn't quite as strong. So we were able to pull the most effective marketing material that we'd used on the Indiana side and roll that out to the Kentucky side.
Yeah, because the Kentucky agents never had seen it.
Exactly. So we didn't have to reinvent anything. And so what we did, just for what it's worth, what we did was we included Louisville in our normal marketing that we have going on the Indiana side now, and that was about every 6 weeks that we were sending out a flyer, if you will, just talking about that particular piece, that goes out to everybody, Indiana and Kentucky. That would be the new stuff. And then between those, as we visited the offices, we were making mailbox stuffers or sending out a second flyer, just targeting those offices really, really hard to get that business going with the material that we already had on hand that we'd used in the past. So it worked out beautifully, and we're still doing that. E-newsletters, of course, getting everybody lined up with Jennifer with Asset Mac is also a strength.
Okay. Let me just move right over here to weaknesses.
And there are a lot of others, guys. I just don't have it all listed here. Again, same areas that you should avoid. We just don't know who over there, you know, who are the movers and shakers of the office, who are the people that really influence other people. So kind of a weakness kind of goes hand in hand with unfamiliar there. No candy boxes in place. That's history. Of course, that's all done. Not doing lunch and learns. We've been in Keller Williams twice now and have scheduled to be in there again. Not many personal connections. Just don't know. You know, again, the people over there, and we have established several good relationships now. I think I told you about Noel Harris and our potato salad guy. So anything you can do to establish those relationships. And then not visiting the offices yet. Again, this is history. We're over there once a week.
All right. And opportunities.
Opportunities, office presentations. Again, no one was doing that over there. Sponsorships. Real quick, a story on the sponsorships. I kind of knocking on the door, let them know that we're there, if we can sponsor something, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm over there doing mailbox stuffers, and one of the top producers comes by, and he starts having a conversation with another agent in there about this polar plunge thing that they do for Christmas. And so, you know, they raise money that way, and they jump in the Ohio River.
Good Lord.
So, so I'm like, hey, and they were talking about, you know, needing sponsors for it. So of course I'd chime in there and got that opportunity to sponsor that event. So nobody else is really doing that over there. And then use our connections, testimonials to promote us over there. Again, that was, you know, using the endorsements from this side of the river from those KW agents to get in the office over there. It worked out really well for us.
Hopefully the polar plunge, you were sponsored and not participating.
I did not participate, no.
I mean, you're talking about giving a man a heart attack. Jump in the Ohio River in December.
Yeah, they do that every year. Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. Threats, again, the established competitors that were over there, and then when I got there changing...
Marketing director.
Oh, yeah, they switched up their marketing director right after I got in over there and got to know the lady halfway decent. She bells out and goes to Remax, and then, which was good for me for Remax, but I had to start over, you know, with that KW office. And knowing who the competitors are over there, much to my surprise, you know, there's just not that many. Like you go in the office and you see all these, on the Indiana side anyway, I might have 4 or 5 different brochure stands and flyers and that kind of stuff in there. And on the Kentucky side, much to my surprise, there may be a couple.
Yeah, that's great. Now, thank you, William, very much. I want you to notice how Carlos and William and Sherry were extremely brutal on themselves, especially on their weaknesses side. Because you know what? You can't improve till you do a comprehensive evaluation of your business. And, you know, it's great to have strengths, but, you know, what are my weaknesses and what are the threats that are affecting the business? This is just too important for you to ignore. And that's why we spent more than an hour here today talking about it. So let's do this. SWOT is a simple yet comprehensive way of assessing the positive and negative forces within and without your organization so you can be better prepared to act effectively. Whatever courses of action you decide on, the SWOT analysis prompts you to move in a balanced way. It reminds you to build on your strengths, minimize your weaknesses, seize opportunities, and counteract threats. The SWOT analysis will be most helpful if you use it to support the vision, mission, and objectives you have already defined. I cannot say how important that is. Once you've defined where you're going in that vision worksheet, then we do the SWOT analysis. The SWOT will provide perspective and will reveal connections and areas for action. Okay, this is just hugely important. Okay, so let me ask you, are you on the SWOT team now? Hopefully you are on the SWOT team. I saw a couple of questions come in, and we'll take other questions anybody has. Let's see what question I saw just come in. Are these SWOT going to be on the site below this conference call? Not really, and here's why. These maps, every SWOT map is individual in nature. We'll give you some resources under there that we showed here today to give you some better perspective. But what your SWOT analysis is going to be very different from somebody else, even Wanda, in the Orlando market. Now, your opportunities will be very different, and the whole thing is very different. Okay, so it wouldn't be helpful to use this, but of course you can watch it again on the video. And Kyle, the mind map, the SWOT analysis mind map is on MindMeister, and I will put a link in the resources under this video up on the net that will show you how to gain access to MindMeister. It's don't use the free version; it'll let you do 5 maps, but use the paid version. It's very inexpensive. I think it's like $59 a year, and you will mind map every project you do, hopefully, to be successful. So so that's it. Okay, any other questions or anything that you have? Carlos had to go, so I appreciate him sharing his information and about his mind map and his SWOT analysis. Anything else? William, how about you? Anything else you want to say before we go, how important this is to your firm and why you use it?
Yeah, it's a real eye-opener. It just gives you the chance to, you know, sit down and think through each one of those areas. You'd be surprised, you know, what comes to mind that, you know, once you start asking yourself those kind of questions. So,
and William, I'm sorry.
No, I just say I'd definitely give it a shot. Everybody should take a look at it and just spend a few minutes on it. What happens is once you start on it, you might be thinking, well, I don't know what I'm going to put here, but next thing you know, as long as you keep moving your fingers, you'll end up with some good stuff on there.
Exactly. Now, William, before you owned the home inspection business, did you do SWOT analysis? Were you familiar with the concept?
Never heard of it.
Okay, and most people haven't, and that's most people haven't heard of mind mapping. When I talk to new clients on member calling day, the fact of the matter is we talk about mind mapping even in the group coaching, and the clients have never heard of it. So Wanda says this mind mapping tool is powerful. It really is powerful, and I would encourage each of you to have all this done before the end of the year. You should never go into 1/1 of 2014 without a vision statement worksheet that you're happy with. Without SMART goals, without a marketing plan, a marketing calendar, and a SWOT analysis. So it's, you know, today is the 4th of the month, and you have almost 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks to get this stuff done. And a lot of times in December, the business is a tad bit slower. This would be the perfect time to use those extra minutes to get an oil change and to work on your planning for 2014. Those who don't plan never reach their full potential, or they go out of business completely. Okay. Zig Ziglar says people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Okay, and that's a big issue here, and that's why we've spent so much time in the last 2 months on these calls talking to you about it. If this didn't work, we wouldn't be talking to you about it. Okay, we'd be talking to you about something else, but it does work, and I really encourage you to do it. Okay, anything else, any other questions? William and Carlos, thank you very, very much for coming on and sharing. You'll please know that William and Carlos have very sharing spirits. They're not worried about any of you learning any of the secrets, even though we have other clients in their marketing area. So I do appreciate it very much. And we look forward to talking to everybody real soon. Stay tuned for the email about the credit card webinar where you can save a bunch of money. That's coming up Tuesday the 10th at 8 Eastern. I'll send you some invitations about it. All right, folks, thanks very, very much for being on the call, and we hope you have a Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ken.
You're welcome. Thank you, William.